I can see Dr. Umesh Shaligram.
Good.
We are very upset that he's not physically here among us. That was our dream to have him here. Umesh Shaligram is going to talk on vaccine development and innovation pre and post COVID-19 pandemic. He is presently the Director, Research and Development, Lead Development and Manufacturing of several products in Serum Institute of India. Umesh, I'm so happy to see you with your long hair, and I can tell it is really honor and privilege I have today to chair this session, because when I was at Indian Institute of Science, Umesh came and joined to do PhD with me. Subsequently, he finished his work at Pune, and then I don't know, some indirect way I have motivated him to do things for the people of India. He could have gone anywhere in the world, but he decided, and today I think we should give an applause to say that here is a man who has given India 2 billion Covishield vaccine. I had the privilege of seeing him recently, last month, and I was impressed by the way he runs such a big organization, R&D to production, and with a principle which Poonawalla believes, no Chinese policy. You cannot even import an Alpine. How he has managed to create this unbelievable effort, and we thought this conference is for not only academic, industry, by entrepreneurs, medical professionals, but at the end, how this knowledge of biotechnology has touched every one of us. I would like to request how many of you have taken Covishield vaccine? Raise your hand. So Umesh, this is your contribution. Thank you very much. We invite you to deliver this plenary lecture.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll just upload the slide, but before I uploading the slide, I just want to check, are you able to listen to me properly, all of you all?
Okay, perfectly, perfectly.
Thank you. So first of all, my sincerest apologies, I couldn't be there in person. I had already discussed due to some personal issue. So I'm really sorry for this. My sincerest apologies to all of you all, and especially to Professor Brahmachari sir. He is my mentor. It's not somewhere other way guaranteed. He is the source of energy and source of inspiration to all of us, but more special to me. He's been kind, and Professor Vani Brahmachari also has been kind. They have supported me, guided, and they have been like my parents to me, actually. So I have a lot of love and respect for them, actually. So there's no doubt about it. And it's just because of him, I decided to really, he told me, Umesh, why don't you give a small plenary lecture over here? So I agreed for giving this. So thank you very much. So as an organizer, as a mentor, as everybody to me. So thank you very much, sir. So for your kind invitation. And with that, probably I'll give a small lecture to you about how LMICs, lower and middle income countries, should really think of innovation and really think of unique ways of disease elimination, and some of examples which we are ourselves trying to put across to the world. So I'll try to give an example, but before that, I'll give a bit of introduction about Serum Institute, what it has done for its existence of almost 6 decades, actually, and then slowly move towards the topic of how the innovation is going to change the world health. But especially LMICs, we are in a lower middle income countries, how we should try to tackle it is something I'll be taking you through that. So just give me a second. I'll just upload my presentation and then take you through that. You are able to see my presentation?
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, it's all, just a second. I'm just, yeah. So, yeah, okay. So basically, Serum Institute of India was actually founded by Dr. Cyrus Poonawalla for, it's more than 55 years plus now since he founded. We have been more focused on lower and middle income countries, supplying extremely cost effective vaccines. 65% of the world children have received one vaccine manufactured by Serum Institute of India. But key major achievement of Serum has been, as Professor Brahmachari has already told, Covishield and Covax. But more important is there's a Menafrivac, which was supplied in few cents to entire sub-Saharan Africa to really eliminate the Mene. Measles, more than 24 million deaths have been prevented. There's a rubella and anti-seras and tuberculosis. I'll be taking you through that quick journey of Serum actually. So up till now, last 5 decades, there have been almost more than 25 plus billion doses got manufactured here in Pune, in India, actually, and got supplied to all the poor of the poorest world. And this put together, if these vaccines were not available, we would not have achieved a huge reduction of death due to meningitis A in sub-Saharan African country, measles, rubella, uncountable deaths have been saved due to availability of tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis, Hib, hepatitis, anti-snake venoms, and anti-seras, and miliary TB due to the availability of BCG. So all these have been put together by Stephen Kaufman, and he has published how many lives have been saved with this. Plus, we have not yet counted the lives which are saved. I think if you looked at Ghani's work, it will be very clear that standalone Covishield probably would have saved more than 6.3 million lives actually. So we supplied almost 1.9 billion doses to the world over of Covishield, being a first company in the history, being India, and it's very proud moment being Indian. And this has been inspiration coming from Professor Brahmachari sir, that Covax, which is our collaboration product along with Novavax, is first time India has manufactured a product in India, and US has used this product in the US actually. It's a very proud moment for all of us. It has gone into US, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, except Japan, everywhere. So we have technically landed up with supplying almost whole of the world, almost close to about 2.2 billion doses we manufactured and we supplied. But it's not only about that. We also manufactured a equine antisera. In case emergency therapy is needed, we manufactured that and kept it ready based on a classical knowledge of the product. And we made a quick product called as recombinant BCG as an immune boost in case needed to handle the COVID portfolio. So these examples I'm giving you because I'm just taking you towards the topic of how LMICs can really quickly adapt and supply the product. This whole thing has translated without COVID, bridging the valley of death, what we say is due to a visionary efforts by Dr. Poonawalla and now Mr. Adar Poonawalla has saved more than 30 million lives, which would have otherwise perished actually if these vaccines, cost-effective vaccines, would not have been available. So this is a very important contribution by Serum Institute of India. So I thought that, and it's a philanthropic philosophy also. So I thought that I'll just give you a bit of overview because all efforts are more focused on LMIC countries. Now, classically, when you look, you will see that our vaccine development has been, it takes ages together from identifying a bacteria to translate and have a proper antigen, which will be protective and come out with a serological correlate of protection, do a proper efficacy trial. It used to take a lot of time to really do this translation actually. So from a lab bench till it is available for large scale immunization, it classically it would take 20, 30, now slowly time reduced to 10 to 20 years. But you will see how the world had changed actually. In case of CO2, literally people was able to make a product in less than 11 months. And why this has happened was something which we will discuss together. Also, the uniqueness which has happened in a pre-pandemic area the speed of development and the innovation was completely differently driven. And now the speed of innovation and a uniqueness is completely differently driven because of three main factors: technological innovation, second regulatory sciences, and third is supply chain management actually. So these three things I'll just take you through quickly. So basically it used to take a lot of time for technology innovation to come up. Then classical technologies were more regulators and a mindset of developer were more stick to the what is proven, the protein, alum as the standard adjuvant, and technologies were live attenuated or killed inactivated viruses. This was always a thought process. This has translated into in COVID-19 pandemic because the risk of a human life was so heavy that acceptance of innovation was really quickly done by the regulators and also scientific community and also investment community. And because of that, in less than a year, you would see a COVID-19 vaccine. Innovative technology like mRNA was used. I think I don't know whether you were there in MBO 50 program. Very nice talk was given by Barney Graham. So it was very clear that how mRNA technology came into picture, DNA technology came into picture. I think India has made a first time DNA vaccine available to the world. Innovation in adjuvant sciences and acceptance of innovative adjuvants. Otherwise, it would take a lot of time by regulators to accept an innovative adjuvant. So matrix-M like adjuvant got accepted. So speed and acceptance of innovation happened in pre-pandemic versus post-pandemic. There's a huge change in that. Classically, you can see there used to be a whole inactivated virus. Now there's a viral vectors. There's a huge acceptance of viral vectors. Covishield is one of the example. In live attenuated viruses, there is a DNA virus. In case of COVID-19, we already seen this. Protein subunit virus, now we have a mRNA vaccine, and we have cell therapies, which are also coming up now to really, there are a lot of discussion about cell therapies which were coming up. So these are all innovations, and their clinical acceptance and use in clinics was rapidly allowed by regulators, proving the technology is much faster. On regulatory science also, so this was very important that regulatory science and regulatory technologies also get developed very nicely. The regulators quickly understood in pre-pandemic area, they used to take a lot of time to evaluate the safety because they didn't wanted to risk the safety actually at all. So safety took a lot of time to evaluate, and then taking pandemic, there was a need of the day, and all that they came out with a risk-based approach. Risk to benefit ratio was some of the key driver for regulators and a global trials. So globally moving multi-country trials, so that there's a lot of trials immediately done by people, and quick evaluation of safety database across the globe was possible. And based on a quick safety evaluation, people could really crisscross interact with each other. All regulators interacted with each other, and based on their evaluation of data, they could really judge very quickly risk to benefit ratio. And if there were any issues, they could really upgrade pack inserts, SMPCs of the product, so that there was a lot of give and take which happened global level, which is very slow in general pre-pandemic, but in this pandemic that has moved very fast, which is really good news for future products to come up actually. The supply chain management, everybody thought that mRNA vaccine will be very tough because it's -70, poor countries will not afford, poor countries will not be able to utilize due to supply chain management. However, true it was really tough, but it happened. People in LMICs could really get an mRNA vaccine, could vaccinate whatever percentage of population themselves, because there was a strong development in supply chain management that has happened. So supply chain management of classically people thought, okay, no, let's have heat stable, let's have 228 degrees centigrade. So innovation around that took a lot of time. So now there's an acceptance. Okay, even if product is at -70, -20, let us use it immediately for saving lives actually. So this acceptance and the innovation around that supply chain also happened very nicely. So it's very interesting that a classical stages of making a thermostable product, making 2 to 8 degrees centigrade stable product, and then using it has really gone into a different direction now. Though now going ahead, one has to come out with how quickly one can make a thermostable vaccine, what will be better way of delivery instead of only injections, what would be an ideal way of really vaccinating people, and track and trace technology. India has done a great innovation with the COVID app on these fronts, and digital technologies and data capturing systems, which have really helped in a supply chain management of ensuring the percentage of maximum people are vaccinated and thereby reducing the disease to a pretty heavy level. So these three elements of pillars really developed with each other very fast post-pandemic, whereas pre-pandemic they used to take their own time of innovation and management actually. Now what this means, this at the end really means in poor countries really should generate, or LMIC countries should really generate a much more in-house capacities, much more capacities of their own innovation, which is very important actually. Then they should actually generate a lot of flexible technologies themselves. So they should establish a flexible, agile technologies like disposable is a very flexible, agile technologies. Otherwise, a huge infrastructure is a big challenge. They should really find out a new innovation, but plus inability to manufacture all these things locally. So much more localized manufacturing, localized solutions are now a big acceptance, and a lot of people are putting efforts around that actually. This is going to get into a translated into a new innovation, which what we say is a disease elimination strategies. So it's for developing countries, instead of sticking to a classical ideas of what a US or Europe is doing, and let's wait till they have proven something and then accept that model. Developing countries, especially India, has learned, no, stand on your own legs and let's find your own solutions. So your own solution to find out needs understanding a disease ecosystem much nicer, and each disease has its own ecosystem. You need to understand that, and what we are trying to really put out an effort. For example, in case of TB, detect, treat and prevent, because the lot of infections happens and they really get into full-blown disease after 20-25 years actually. So it takes a lot of time for disease. So in such situation, how do you really manage the entire story? So what we are trying to really work on LMIC solution is detect, treat and prevent solution. So for example, in TB, what we are trying to come out is we have come out with a product called as a SciTB, which is point of care. So it's very important for LMIC to come out with point of care solution, because LMIC doesn't have a healthy infrastructure. So anything which is point of care, like pregnancy test, anything which is point of care has a great acceptance, a quick acceptance. Then track and trace, use of mobile, has a great acceptance. So CTB is one of the product which is a recommendedly manufactured ESAT6 and CFB10, that if you do a skin test, but it's much more specific against TB, even against the BCG background, it works out. It is now licensed. So you have a detect, which we already got a marketing authorization from Government of India, and TB program team is trying to implement this. Then we are going to go with a treat, rifampicin isoniazid treatment. So latent TB infection is completely brought under control by this, and then subsequently do a prevention through a vaccination. So if you do a detect, treat, prevent, and come out with an innovative program management. So this is an example of a program management where we'll have an individuals with which we will be able to handle the program management. If you are latently negative, then absolutely you take the vaccine. If you are latently positive, or if you are having a symptoms, then you better do a molecular test, which is now also going to be point of care on the schools, on the point of care molecular test. Plus in addition, x-ray devices which will go in the vans to the remote areas, and we will be able to track and trace, track it out, and make a decision. There is a need of a therapy, let's give that therapy for the rifampicin isoniazid or appropriate antibiotic therapy, and then move for the vaccination. So you bring everybody at the same level of being uninfected, and then do a vaccination, so that one can really do a disease elimination very nicely. So unique programmatic application with a unique product, innovative product, will really solve this problem. So this is one of the example which we are trying to drive now. and you will see as we are building these solutions. Same thing, malaria elimination. We have really worked in Africa. We have completed a R21, which will really save a lot of lives, like Covishield. Reduce the disease severity first, and then work on elimination. That's the idea. So that's something we have moved, and we are coming out with the unique ideas of formulating the trivalent product so that we are able to block the transmission, then also disease at the infection stage and at the blood stage. So that way, a trivalent product will help in really complete elimination of diseases. With also, in addition, point of care detect, then treat, and then vaccinate. This is also efforts which we are doing, but these are unique strategies which are coming out. HPV, as you know, everybody, we have already got a marketing authorization for Cervivac, where we are really now trying to bring a program together where we can have a point of care detect of HPV with a simple urine test like a pregnancy test, and then if need be, there are unique treatments, a very easy treatment to kill early cervical infection by cervical viruses, actually like 16 and 18 or other, and then later on do a prevention. So when you are able to integrate all these things together with a nice ecosystem solution, then you will be able to really kill early stage diseases, and they landing up with a larger pandemic, or they landing up with the newer issues, and thereby really improving the health of the countries, which obviously straight away has a economic impact, is a very important thing. So these are some of the examples. We are doing this for almost most of the diseases with some of the additional point of care solution also. But these are the some of the examples I thought that I'll just share with you and give an idea how LMICs should try to think innovatively, think differently, and come out with a unique solution instead of going with a classical, oh, X product is there, let's make that product ourselves and then have it for given for our countries actually. So innovation is a very important aspect, and innovation in all aspect of the disease and for health improvement is a very important aspect, which is now channelized post pandemic. There's a lot of people who are interested into it post pandemic. A lot of investment also has started pouring in this field, so which is really good news. And I hope post pandemic the solutions to the health will be much faster and quicker. With that, I'll stop over here and open up myself for the presentation actually. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Umesh. I thought you will show one or two slides of your amazing production sign, and you have to see to believe it.
Yes.
That how they have managed to indigenize such a huge endeavor. So I'll open it up for any questions. You have any question? I can't see anybody. Yeah.
Thank you very much for a brilliant presentation. I think you deserve a lot of compliments for bringing the HPV vaccine, because that is one area which we really are working very hard, and we would like to strengthen and improve the woman's health through vaccination.
Well, thank you very much. I would say that, I should say one thing, that without Department of Biotechnology, without, our Honorable Secretary Rajesh Gokhale and previous Secretary Dr. Renu Sarup, this would not have been possible. They have been integrated part and amazing development of HPV actually. It takes, it's a 12 years development, but it's an amazing work how together we all have done such a good solution actually. So there's no doubt, and there's a innovation on the detect part also, which is also DBT is really understood, and they are really moving this very nicely to bring this ecosystem of detect, treat, and prevent, so that we bring down the disease circulating virus very quickly. Otherwise, even if you have only vaccine, you will not bring down the circulating virus quickly. And this is a uniqueness of our country actually, which is getting driven. So that's why this innovation is very important. And without DBT, And without their integration, this would not have been possible. They have been amazing actually in this product.
There's one more question from Dr. Sudha Rao. Stand up, otherwise he may not be able to see you.
Thank you, Dr. Shaligram, for taking time to speak to us, even if it was online. And we're really proud of what Serum has done for the vaccination supply to the world, not just for COVID, but for many more things. My quick question to you is, do you have any programs that would essentially tap into a lot of research that's happening by Indian scientists and smaller companies, which you could essentially then take it into a larger vaccine program, given the size that Serum is currently? Thank you.
Yes, in fact, to be very frank, at present, I was in Bangalore a few days back. I'm really focused is only about trying to have mostly done a translation of an indigenous efforts, so there's no doubt about it, or make sure that there's a global acceptance of the effort done by us in terms of scientific as well as regulatory science wise. So there's a lot of efforts which is running. So we are trying to really put a lot of efforts towards dengue, towards a little more innovation on the viral vectors, but mostly on the MVA side. We are trying to work together. We are trying to really work together on the clinical assay development and validation. Actually, that also is one of the very important aspect, which, we are trying to really strengthen these aspects, because in order to have a global acceptance, actually, of our data, you need that. And also a lot of things on the clinical development over here. So we are doing a lot of these efforts, and we are partnering with DBT, ICMR, NIRT, lot of institutions, partners are there. But now early research and capturing early development molecule is something like is one of the major thing in our agenda. And I just want to stop giving an answer to this by telling that what we lack, I have seen, is ability to do a business development. What I personally see is that a lot of institutes are doing a lot of good science, but there's no business development unit actually, which is reaching out to the industry and which is kind of selling whatever are the efforts. Let's sell it. Let's at least pass the messages. Let's do a conviction. It's well understood that they are early. There are a lot of challenges, and somebody will capture it and do a translation of them. So that aspect is a little weak aspect. If that is strengthened up, then probably the science, quality of science is all across globally same. The acceptance of these things will be pretty heavy actually. So that is something really amazing, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Umesh, we are very proud that you have taken up the TB. So I have one question. Bangalore is becoming, next to Bombay, the hotspot of TB. We have a huge burden in Bangalore. I have some access to Karnataka data. So this meeting also, a couple of people and in the young initiatives I saw were interested in TB. So will it not be a good idea to network all entrepreneurs, NGOs, and put them together in this mission?
Very true. I'm totally agreeing with you. It's need of the day. In fact, last time we met, I said I'll send you a full presentation of CTB and entire plan. So I'll do that probably Monday, Tuesday, and then whenever you will call for the meeting, we'll come ourselves and my lab. In fact, you have to also come to my lab actually. So you'll see the my lab. That innovation in a detect is amazing innovation. You'll be completely, means I'm sure you will be happy, but all those people who are listening, they'll be also happening how they are putting the innovation in detect, actually a very amazing innovation. So that will be really great. So anytime me, Hasmukh, will be ready to come, and then we are very happy to do that, because this is need of the day, no doubt about it.
I didn't tell, he is a great devotee of Ramakrishna.
Yeah.
So every year he makes sure he goes to Belur Math Ramakrishna Mission. So his philosophy of life is very driven, very differently. I congratulate you for what you are doing today. Thank you for everything.